Hello dear students of class 9. Today I am going to teach you a poem entitled The Bangle Sellers, written by Sarojini Naidu. Before beginning with the poem, let me give you a short introduction of the poetess Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu was born on 13 February 1979 in Hyderabad. So being an Indian, she has a lot of Indianness in her poem. In most of her poems, there is a touch of Indianness. She is not only a poetess, she is also a politician. So she was an eminent personality in the freedom struggle of India. She was also one of those freedom fighters who helped India in gaining independence from the colonial rule. So, because of her finesse in her poetry, she was given the title of the Nightingale of India. So, when you read the poems of Sarojini Naidu, you will find a lot of Indianness in her poem. That means she touches the Indian tradition, the Indian culture, be it any poem, be it the Bangle Seller or the poems such as In the Bazaars of Hyderabad. There is a certain touch of Indianness in her poem. So even in this poem, the Bangle Sellers, she has given a description of the bangles, the different colored bangles that the Indian women wear most of the time in their lives. So bangles are an important part of an Indian woman's life because that is a part and parcel of her life. For every occasion, an Indian woman needs bangles. So when we read the poem, every stanza tells us about the different colored bangles that these women or the girls wear. That means for every stage of a woman's life, there are different colored bangles. That means when she is a child, she loves the different colored bangles. When she reaches her adolescence, she prefers another color. When a girl is about to get married, she has a different choice of colors. When she gets married, she has a different choice of colors. And when she reaches her middle age, that means when she becomes a woman, when she gets married and she has daughters or sons, and when she becomes a wife, she has a different choice of color. So every stanza depicts the different colored bangles that are suitable for the women of different ages. So in this particular poem, Sarojini Naidu has depicted or shown how the Indian women, they love bangles. Indian women are very fond of bangles. So, a little description on every stage of a woman's life. But in today's class, we'll be dealing only with the first stanza of the poem. So, before explaining, let's see what the first stanza is like. So, the first stanza says, Bangle sellers are we who bear our shining loads to the temple fair. Who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow-tinted circles of light, lustrous tokens, radiant lives, for happy daughters and happy wives? So in the very beginning of the poem, the poetess has said, Bangle sellers are we who bear. So there is a speaker, and the speaker is a bangle seller. So the bangle seller tells us that we are bangle sellers and we bear our shining loads to the temple fair. That means these bangle sellers, they take their loads of bangles to the temple fair to sell those bangles. So that's why it is said, Bangle sellers are we who bear our shining loads to the temple fair. That means we are bangle sellers and we take the shining loads of bangles to the temple fair in order to sell them. Because in the temple, different types of women come to worship God. So when they come there, and especially when they come to the fair, then they would see a huge or a heap of bangles, and they would want to buy the different color bangles. So that's why the bangle sellers are saying that we carry loads of bangles to the temple fair so that we can sell it to the girls or to the women. So that's why the poetess has said, bangle sellers are we who bear our shining loads to the temple fair. And who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow-tinted circles of light? So they question, now who is going to buy? Who is going to buy these bangles? And she describes them as delicate, because the bangles are fragile, they are delicate, they break so easily. Bright, they are brightly colored, rainbow-tinted circles of light. Because the bangles are of different colors, that's why it's described as rainbow tinted. Circles of light, because they are circular in shape, because of the shape of the bangles, it's known as rainbow tinted circles of light. So rainbow tinted because of the different colors, and circles because they are circular in shape. So this is what the bangle sellers, they tell us in the very beginning of the poem. So the bangle sellers tell us that we carry a huge load to the temple fair. And who will buy these bangles? They are just simply crying out as to who is going to buy these bangles. And she even describes the bangles as delicate, bright, rainbow tinted circles of light. That means the beautiful colored bangles. So these are the 4 lines. So I hope the first 4 lines are clear to you. So let's see the last 2 lines of this particular stanza. Lustrous tokens of radiant lives for happy daughters and happy wives. So it's described as lustrous tokens of radiant lives because the bangles are bought for every occasion. And why? Radiant means happy. And why radiant lives? Because they symbolize happiness and prosperity. And tokens, when you give something as a symbol of love to somebody, that is known as token, a token of love. So, lustrous, because they are shiny. Lustrous means shiny. So, lustrous tokens of radiant lives. So, that is why these bangles are described as lustrous tokens of radiant lives, because the bangles, they symbolize happiness and prosperity. And also the fact that bangles are bought for every occasion. And in the Indian system, we celebrate every occasion with so much of pomp. And there is happiness, there is prosperity in every occasion and every festival that we celebrate. And bangles are a very, very important part of the Indian culture. That's why it said lustrous tokens of radiant lives. So lustrous means shiny, tokens of radiant lives. So radiant lives, radiant means happy. Why it's associated with happiness? Because every occasion is filled with happiness and prosperity. So that's why the poetess describes it in this way. For happy daughters and happy wives. So usually we present it to the daughters and also to the wives. So these are given as tokens, a gift to the happy daughters and happy wives. And not only gifts, these are the people who wear those bangles. In every occasion, whatever occasion it is, they wear those bangles. Okay, so this is how the poetess describes the bangles and the bangle sellers in the first stanza of the poem. So what is noteworthy here is, though it seems to be like there are different speakers here, but it is presented as one because the main purpose here is to sell the bangles. So whether you have multiple speakers, whether you have just one speaker, the main purpose is to sell the bangles. So though it seems here like as if there are multiple speakers in the poem, but you can take it as a single speaker also because their main motive is to sell the bangles. That is why they question, who is going to buy those bangles and who is going to buy our colorful bangles? That is what they ask the people. So whether you take it as singular, whether you take it as plural, the main motive here is to sell the bangles. So that's why they ask the question, who is going to buy our bangles? So that is the main idea that is there in the first stanza of the poem, in these 6 lines that have been given you. So I hope it's clear to you, class 9. Even then, if you have not understood anything, you can always ask me to explain any of the lines that you have not understood. So here again I am repeating, Bangle sellers are we who bear our shining loads to the temple fair. Who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow-tinted circles of light, lustrous tokens of radiant lives for happy daughters and happy wives? So this is the explanation that has been given in the first stanza of the poem. So I have tried to explain every line as far as possible, taking into consideration every word that is there. Okay, class 9. So all these lines have been explained properly to you. So I hope you have understood, and still if you have not understood, you can always ask me. So let's wrap up the class for today. Thank you.